Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon? As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How these 2 characters fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds, what kind of content they get used for, and their future availability. So let's hop right into this Raid Up banner featuring Yulia and Maiya, running from September 3rd to the 16th. And of course, this is not a Destiny banner, so it's definitely possible to summon off-banner heroes even on your first SSR. So let's go ahead and get started with Yulia. She's a strong overall general purpose unit. If her HP percentage is high enough, then her talent gives her boosted damage, up to 3 self-revives, and some self-healing after combat. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna and Shelfaniel, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Tree Sage. For bonds, she doesn't unlock anyone's bonds yet. And for her own bonds, she just needs the common rare Jessica for her defensive bond and Zerida for her attack bond. Now, if you're worried about that, Zerida is going to be featured on the Destiny banner next week. How convenient. For content, in PvE she's quite a helpful unit in the fights against Scylla in the Eternal Temple and against Needhog in Ancient Beckoning. She's also strong against the Fire Dragon and in her infantry class, the Thunder Dragon. Her incidental healing, along with that provided by her best weapon, Gift of Eternal Life, and her self-revives, make her a strong unit for general purpose PvE as well. She's falling off a bit in PvP, largely due to her short legs and the fact that her factions aren't among the strongest, and partly due to meta darling Deedlit's release, making less space for her in most boxes. She's still quite a solid unit in certain matchups, and she does bring a mix of melee and ranged magical attacks, the ability to strip buffs, and strong soldiers in the newly event-decorated unicorns. For availability, Yulia is slated to return on October 15th on a Destiny banner alongside the reigning meta tanks Landius and Juglar. That's only about a month away. So if you're still missing Yulia and the reason you're thinking about this banner is because you're hoping to pick her off, even though as a raid up banner it's kind of a crapshoot, you might consider waiting for that one. A Destiny banner does give you better odds to pull the exact character that you need. If you already have Landius and Juglar, then your Yulia will be guaranteed at that time. And if you don't have one or the other, then this also doubles as an opportunity to pick up one of the best tanks in the game. Of course, the flip side of that, depending on what your priorities are, is if you pick off Yulia now, then it will make the Landius or Juglar that you're missing guaranteed next month. Okay, so obviously that's something you'll have to think about for yourself, so let's go ahead and move on to Maiya. Maiya's a niche mage with a mix of fairly standard single target and AoE spells. Her talent removes a buff from the enemy before attacking and also increases their damage taken, and it also gives her extra int if she's close to enemies and removes a debuff from nearby allies, so pretty nice versatility there. Her 3-cost skill is a big AoE blast centered on her position that has an interesting chain debuffing mechanic. At baseline, it removes one buff and replaces it with a debuff on every enemy in range, and this effect cascades if one of the targets is a demon. This skill also dispels a debuff from allies in range, or all debuffs for holy type units. She's a member of Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and the upcoming character Rosenseal, and Langrisser Reincarnation, buffed by Ares. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bonds for Ares and for the upcoming new characters Rosalia and Tsubame. And for her own bonds, she just needs Narm for her defensive bond, and then of course Ares for her attack bond. Again, if you're interested in Maiya here and you're worried about that, it's good to know that Ares is coming back on a banner in the near future with Betty and Amelia. So if you missed him when these two shared a banner, you will have another opportunity to pick him up. For content, in PvE she's on faction for Valkyrie in Eternal Temple and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning, but if you can make her work in those fights, then power to you. Her magic alone could make her helpful against the Ice Dragon if you don't already have other strong casters. In PvP, I don't see her being exceptionally helpful, but a few of the players in the Chinese playoffs did bring her out for a spin. She could be a good anti-demon option, but most people are still shying away from running demons in PvP. If you're running a strict Empire team and need a versatile mage, then she could be a good pick for you. Actually, on that note, the new Empire faction buffer Rosenseal, who should be coming to Global in January, kind of upstages Maiya, at least on the supportive front. Rosenseal's in charge of making sure your team never gets debuffed, so Maiya doesn't really get to take advantage of her ability to strip debuffs from your team. I guess on the other hand, Rosenseal's gonna get banned a lot, so you'll have to play around with her to find her niche. For availability, Maiya's not showing up on the predicted banner schedule for the next 6 months, so don't expect to see her pop up before mid-February at the earliest. She has yet to appear on a Destiny banner. Her initial banner was of course a 2-person new character banner with Ares, and then there's this one, so maybe next time. Okay, now for the quick and dirty. We have Yulia, who's a strong general-purpose PvE and PvP unit. Her self-revives and incidental healing can make her quite self-reliant. Then we have Maiya, who's a niche mage who cleans up buffs and debuffs. She unlocks defensive bonds for Ares, Rosalia, and Tsubame. And now for the usual reminder about upcoming banners, but first I did just want to mention again that the free Secret Realm event character Altina should be available beginning today. Or at least her event is active now. You'll have to get in there and start grinding out materials to trade in for her shards. Okay, anyway, next week, this banner will overlap with the Destiny banner meant to help you get caught up on previously released characters you might have missed. Rainforce, Zerida, and the currently sole Mythical Realm faction buffer Gizaroth, at least for the next month or so. The Gizaroth banner should also run alongside the second summoning event of the Trails of Cold Steel crossover, namely, the Equipment banner. I briefly mentioned these new gear pieces in the last issue of the Langrisser Lookout, so check that out if you need the bare minimum details. When this Yulia and Maiya banner goes away, it'll be replaced by yet another catch-up Destiny banner, this time featuring Rachel, Lana, and the coveted OP PvE healer Tiaris. And this is actually a rerun of a banner that we've already covered, so if you're really desperate to get a preview on what this banner looks like, you can check out my previous Should You Summon on that, but of course I will be recording a new episode for it as well. Finally, it's a little ways out, but it is worth mentioning now for planning purposes. The next major update is bringing the new characters Rosalia and Nomi to the game. These heroes aren't game changers like Ares and Reen before them, but Rosalia at least has some interesting use cases in PvP. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you're summoning on this one or if you're still chipping away at the crossover. I know there are a lot of you out there who have 5 or 6 Aryan rods and no Reens, or vice versa, so hang in there my friends. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon.